The FTA talks have now resumed, and this is a resumption no one was anticipating earlier. An agreement had pretty much been reached after the last round of talks on June the 29th in time for an announcement by Diwali of this year. But they have reopened in the face of new demands from the new British government. And so India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is now leading negotiations with his opposite number, Kemi Badenoch, after he had begun talks earlier with Liz Truss when she was Trade Secretary, and then with Anne-Marie Trevelyan. The principal new demand from the new British government is over migration, which is strictly outside of trade talks, but the two have been joined as a result of a policy statement from Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. In the election campaign, he had published a 10-point migration plan, and clause 7 of that says that any trade agreement with any country should be made conditional on that country taking back a number of illegal migrants who originated from that country. That certainly makes India a prime concern. Now, a separate migration and mobility agreement, or an MOU, with Britain had been signed in May of 2021. That has not led to masses of Indians being sent back to India as Rishi Sunak wants. The talks now seek to determine the extent to which that demand can be built into or around a trade agreement. On trade itself, the British demand, the prime demand stays, which is higher quotas and reduced tariffs on Scotch whisky exported from Britain, and India had agreed to this. But far more controversial is the British demand for extended patents for its pharma products. India, of course, is the biggest manufacturer of generic life-saving drugs, and accepting this British demand would damage India's pharma industry, but also put millions of lives around the world at risk. But from the Indian side, the big demand is a little more controversial, a little less easier simply to understand. That is more movement of professionals from India to Britain. It is not immediately clear why India's demand and the prime demand and negotiating position is that Britain should take away more and more of its proven best and brightest.